everybody? How you doing? King Support Kings podcast. I'm your man Marcellus. Just starting this thing out, so I got some friends of mine that helped me out. Tonight I got a special guy. I known him since 2015.
I think so.
Long time. Yeah, we're getting old together. We both just hit our fourth decade of life in the same 5-6 months of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a special guy. When I wanted to start this podcast, I was thinking about guys like him. Somebody that's always been supportive, somebody that's always uplifting other people, supporting other people, especially support me, somebody that I can lean on when I'm going through things, who's always a lending ear and I can bounce things off of. And, just a good brother, a good person overall. Everybody, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Gene.
Hey, everybody. Excuse me while I grab a tissue. You almost made me cry.
Hold on. I got to give you a round of applause.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
But no, Gene, the reason, and I appreciate you for, doing this and being on the podcast, on the show. But as everybody knows, this is June. So that means it's Father's Day coming up. And you're one of the best dads, not fathers, dads that I know.
Appreciate that.
For real, man, for real. I see how hard you've gone for your kids, from taking road trips, supporting them through their sports. You just had your second daughter graduate high school, which is amazing. I always see how you do the silly dad things. You inspire me, bro. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, man. Feeling is mutual. For
real, you inspire me, man, for how you hold it down, man. And like I said, with Father's Day coming, I wanted you to speak to the fact of, I know you have a village, that helped you out, but I want you to speak to the fact of being a single dad and how you done it. Because looking from afar, man, I mean, you go above and beyond for your kids, man. I just want you to speak to the fact of, how was it, being a single dad?
It had its moments just like everything else in life. But I think what really motivated me to be the dad that I am today is growing up without my dad. So, and then of course being in the military deployments and stuff, always being gone in the beginning of their lives. Right. Once I got the opportunity to have them by myself, I was going all in.
Right.
So, and that's why I try to be, there every day. I try to contact them, because my oldest goes to college in Orlando now.
Right.
I try to reach out, see how she's doing. Just stay in their lives, man. I didn't have that, so I got to do that for them.
Yeah. So we always see, when Mother's Day come around, the restaurants are packed, the beaches are packed, especially here living in Florida. We see the commercials. I haven't seen one Father's Day commercial yet. I think I started seeing Mother's Day commercial right after St. Patrick's Day, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, if you don't mind, if it's not too deep, kind of let the people know how you ended up being a single dad.
Let's see, without getting too deep into.
Yeah, I want to really co-parent the situation. So.
Yeah, so I was actually stationed in Japan when I had filed for divorce to my wife at the time. Right. And her father had passed away, so she was going through a lot of stuff. I ended up sending her back home, back to Texas where she's from. And then, being a military parent with 3 kids, I had 3 kids at the time, it was hard. Yeah. So she hit me with, hey, I don't think I'm going to go back. So I was like, okay. It's I filed for divorce anyway because it just wasn't working out. But the minute that she said she wasn't coming back, I was like, all right, well, I guess I got to do this by myself.
Right.
So from Japan all the way back to the States, I did it by myself.
And so mentally, as a man, what impact did that have on you? Because you said you're the one who filed the divorce, so the marriage was over with. Yeah. But even though the marriage was over with, you still think, okay, I'm going to have her there to help me out with these kids.
Yes.
That got flipped on you.
It did.
You went from being divorced and, okay, we're going to work it out for the kids to, we're divorced and she's gone.
Yeah.
So how did that affect you mentally as a man?
It was hard, man, because, financially you want to be there to give your kids everything. Emotionally, you want to be there to pick them up. You want to say that it's going to be okay. I really didn't know how to explain, mommy does love you, daddy loves you. We're just not going to be together.
Right.
And you're with me now.
Right.
I didn't know how to say, like, it's not that she didn't want them.
Right.
She was just in a tough time.
Yeah.
And looking back at it now, it's, if a dad would have done that to their kids, we would have been called all the names in the world. But, it was just a fortunate situation that I'm blessed to have had, the success that I've had with them.
Right. So what aspect of that did it affect your children? How do you navigate the questions and the milestones in life? The lady time coming for your daughters, or
it was hard.
Looking for that motherly love. How did you navigate that?
It was hard, man. So being in the military, you meet families, you get good with people, especially I lived in base housing. Right. So I think my oldest was 12 when she got her period, and we were at the pool. So she's like, Dad, I can't go in the water. I was like, why not? Yeah. And she told me, I was like, but so what's crazy is, so I called my homegirl, my buddy's wife, and she had said a week prior, because I knew something was going to happen. I was like, man, Ariana's going to get a period. I can just feel it. So she had me get like a little goodie bag, and I had pads, probably the wrong ones, like supersized tampons and chocolates and all this stuff. So I had friends to help me out. Like I called my mom, and just reaching out to people that I know that would give me some good encouragement and support. Right. But the emotional side with the kids it was tough because I'm still dealing with it, and I didn't know how to deal with my stuff, dealing with it, and then dealing with them. Right. And now there's 3 of them, my oldest, the middle, and then my son. Yeah. My son didn't really understand. He was so young. He didn't really know what was going on. Right. But as the years got older, it became a little harder. And it was tough.
So, I know things have changed, whatnot. So now that they're older and they're becoming young ladies, because you got the 2 older ones that are graduated, one's in college, one's headed to college. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you got your son who's in the rear. How does that work for your relationship now? Like, do you have those conversations where they say, hey, Dad, thanks for, being there? Have you got to that point yet where they have that moment of reflection in their life where they're like, yo, our dad did it. He got us here. Because I see you, like I said, I see you at the volleyball tournaments. I see you pulling up with the car for your daughter to drive. I see you dealing with the boyfriends.
Oh, yeah.
I see. I'm not there yet. I'm not, so like I said, that's why I look up to you, because I know that stuff's coming from me, even though I have my wife, but you did it by yourself. Like you said, you had a village, but you were the main focus of your children.
Yeah. It's tough, man. Like, so now that they're older, their mom just moved to Navarre last year. Mm-hmm. And that whole time, it was me. Like, she really didn't help out financially, emotionally. She put more stress on them because she was going through her own stuff. And it was really hard. But now, it's funny that you say Mother's Day and Father's Day. So last year, Janelle bought me a card on Mother's Day and said, Dad, you deserve this just as much as any other mom because you took care of the 3 of us. So that really hit home. So they know, like, what I did. And even though they don't say, like, daily, thank you, Dad, or it's because of you or whatever,
you can feel it.
They know. They know. Yeah. And if they don't ever say it, that's fine. I know deep in my heart what I did. And I just hope that they understand what I did and what the sacrifices I made was just for the best for them.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I think, and to that point, and a lot of people don't know this, but I was married before I was with Danielle, and I had a stepdaughter. And when we split up, same situation, I filed for divorce. Her brother, he told me all along, hey, man, I think you deserve a little better, bro. He told my brother-in-law, her own brother told me this. He's like, look, whenever you fed up, just hit me up. I'll come get her. So I called him on a Thursday. He came on a Sunday and picked her up. But when she left my stepdaughter with me. Oh. And yeah, and a lot of people don't know that. She left my stepdaughter with me. She lived with myself. She lived with my best friend because we were living in base housing. Moved out of base housing, stayed with my buddy, roommate situation. And it was like 2 guys and a baby. She was only 3 years old maybe at the time, going on 4. And I had to navigate that, working night shift, during the night while she sleep, being watched by some military friends.
Yeah.
And then being up during the day, taking care of her and whatnot. So I did that for probably almost a year, I want to say. And then, it, like you, I had to navigate it, figure it out, take care of her, learn how to do hair, all those things. And then when her mom got on her feet, that's when she sent for her. And legally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't say no. I'm taking care of her now. I had to give her up because even though I was her sole provider, I had to let her go legally because she was my stepdaughter, not my biological daughter.
Yeah.
So for me personally, that transition, I always wanted to be a dad. It was a situation where same ex-spouse, she got pregnant and I deployed for Iraqi Freedom, and she actually was pregnant and had an abortion with my child, and I had no say so whatsoever. I begged and cried, and and at the end of the day, it was her body, her choice.
Yeah.
So having my stepdaughter, that's like my first child, my first love. She's 22 now. She's 21. She'll be 22 this year, and she just graduated college. So you don't lose those bonds, but going through that motion of being a single dad and having help, like you said, on the flip side, if it was reversed, if that was me who just took off and left, I'd be all types of whats and who's, But do you think as men, we give women the benefit of the doubt when it comes to those things? Like, even though we might be done wrong, like you say, you filed for the divorce, but when she left, in your mind, do you still think you were like, you know what, she's going through it, I'll take care of it, don't worry about it, get better?
Yes and no, man, because and everybody's built differently. So I could be going through things, but I would never, not once, think about like leaving my kids,
right,
or something negative towards my kids. Like, that's not even an option.
Right.
I haven't lost my parents yet, so I don't know how that's going to affect me, if it would. But at the end of the day, my kids are my world. And absolutely. I think, the way the world sees it now, a mother's love is like the most you can have. And for a mom to feel that way, or to give up so many years of it without even not trying to be in the picture of it is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, what you said to that point is giving up time. That's one of the reasons I really got out the military, because I was going through a divorce with my ex-spouse, and she had my kids and brought them to Florida. And at the time, the Air Force was like doing voluntary separation. So I pushed that button so fast to be with my kids, because as I know in the military, what they say goes.
Yep.
So working the 12-hour shifts, the 6 days on, the deployments, a lot of times, and this is for males and females in the military, you miss so much time with your kids.
Yes.
So when you have an opportunity to be there for them like we are now, the time that you get with your 3 older ones now, I guarantee you get way more with your baby.
Yes.
And that's the same thing for me. And that's why I think we connect, because with Dream and Gianna, my lifestyle is totally different. So I'm getting more time and more experiences with them than I didn't get with my 3 older daughters.
Yeah.
So, and it's a blessing, because, being away from your kids, missing that time, you can't get it back.
Yeah, you don't get that back.
No. So for a parent to willingly go out here and just step away, I couldn't imagine doing it. What Drake say, I can't have a kid out here and be kidding around.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Yeah. I couldn't do that, So what advice would you give to the guys who are going through it right now, who are in the situation that you were in before? What would you say to those guys?
Man, well, this is what I would say to every man that has a child out there, whether you financially set or not, whether you got a home, whether you got a cardboard box, be there, put in the time, get to know your child, and just be there, man. Just reach out as much as you can. Obviously, there's court orders and stuff like you gotta listen to, but man, Even if I had a court order for me not to see my kids, I'm still going to try to reach out and see my kids.
Exactly. Fight for your kids.
You got to fight. Now, if you don't want to have your child in your life, that's different. Mm-hmm. And this is going to piss some people off, but if you don't want your kids in your life and you help create them kids, you really ain't a man yourself. So,
hey, I'm going to go ahead and give you one of these right here.
Because
that's big. That's big right there. No, that's real, man. I mean, if you're gonna do the and create life, you need to take care of that life. And that's the one thing that we all know is that you're out here dealing with people, regardless if you're with that person or not. If not, if you're sitting there and you're out here doing the things that make children, you need to step up and be there for that child. Or if you can't be there for that child, move out the way and let the next person be there for them.
Facts.
Yep. Because a lot of people who don't want the kids, being there when you don't want a kid is more detrimental than not being there at all. So if you're not going to fight for your kids, if you're not going to spend time with them, and I'll say this real quick. My dad, love my dad, named after him and everything. His style of parenting was showing me how to work on things. Showing me how to box, showing me how to throw a football, basketball. He wasn't the parent-teacher dad. He wasn't the field trip dad. He wasn't the loud in the stands with a picture of my daughter at graduation dad like you were a couple weeks ago. That wasn't my dad, but he was there. He was present. He spent the time watching movies with me or showing me how to ride a bike. All parenting doesn't have to be financial. It doesn't have to be financial. It doesn't have to be materialistic. Sometimes the best present that you can give is your presence to your child.
Amen to that. Give yourself a round of applause for that.
Oh, man, I'm going to run it back then, man. I'm going to run one time. Did I get it? Oh,
nope. You missed it.
Nope. Damn. All right, it's all good. But anyway, man. But yeah, I appreciate you joining this show, man. This is what this is about, just touching topics like this. And I'm sure we'll talk about some other things, but I appreciate you. I salute you, my guy. You're a brother of mine. You're a friend to many. And most importantly, you're an awesome father, man. So thank you, my brother.
Hey, it takes one to know one, Marcellus.
Hey, I'm trying, man. I'm just a squirrel out here.
Nah, you ain't trying. You doing, my friend. You are doing.
Hey, each one teach one, and then therefore we reach one, man. So I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Kings Supporting Geeks podcast for myself, Marcellus, and my dog, Gene. We appreciate y'all. All right.
Peace. Later.